located in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, encompassing 287 hectares. The Toronto Zoo is the largest zoo in Canada. It is divided into 7 zoo geographic regions: Indomalay, Africa, Americas, Tundra Track, Australia, Eurasia, and the Canadian domain. Some animals are displayed indoors in pavilions and outdoors in what would be their naturalistic environments, with viewing at many levels. It also has areas such as the Kids Zoo, Waterside Theatre, and Splash Island. It has one of the most taxonomically diverse collection of animals on display of any zoo. It is currently home to over 5,000 animals, representing over 500 species. The zoo is open to the public every day of the year except December 25th. The zoo is owned by the City of Toronto government, founded by Hugh A. Carruthers, an industrialist who became the first chairman of the Metro Toronto Zoological Society in 1966. The zoo opened on August 15, 1974 as a Metropolitan Toronto Zoo. The word metropolitan was dropped from its name when the municipality of Metropolitan Toronto was amalgamated into the current city in 1998. The zoo is located near the Rogue River on the western border of the Rogue Park in the city east and district of Scarborough. Around 1880, businessman Harry L. Piper established a zoological and acclimatization society and opened a zoological garden at Old Post Office Lane at Toronto Street north of King Street East. Then in 1981 to a lot of Front Street in York Street next to the Queen's Hotel, and finally to the eastern end of the exhibition grounds in 1885. Piper was also alderman for St. John's Ward from 1877 to 1880 and 1883. Today, the clips you are looking at, they are taken from the Australia part of the zoo, and we will give you some information regarding. Since opening in 1976, the zoo opened the Canadian Domain ride, a monorail that traveled into the zoo's Canadian Domain area located in the Rogue Valley. The ride's operation were placed on hold in July 1994 after an accident. The monorail has since been mothballed, with many sections becoming overgrown with vegetation. A 2009 study determined it would cost upward of $800,000 to return the infrastructure to use and upgrade it to current standards. A fundraising drive was started in 2010 and has since raised $1.5 million. Plans are to have monorail functional and running by 2018. In the interim, the current Zoomobile uses 4-car set chance coach Sunliner trams. Between 1980 and 1984, several new exhibits were added to the zoo, including Gore, a children's zoo that does not exist anymore, and a new indoor habitat for African elephants, snow leopards, and the Indian rhinoceros pavilion, as well as the official opening of the Zoomobile. In 1985, King and Quan, a pair of giant pandas on loan for 3 months from the People's Republic of China, were displayed at the zoo. The zoo broke all previous attendance records as thousands of visitors came to see those rare animals. Over the years, the zoo has presented other rare or unusual animals, including golden monkeys 1986, koalas 1988, 1996, and gain in 2002. Tasmanian devils the late 1970s until 1998, and white lions 1995, and again in 2012. In 1987, the zoo opened the Maya Temple exhibit, the Wolf Woods exhibit. In 1988, the zoo completed new reptile exhibits in the Australia Pavilion and the primate wing in the Americas Pavilion. Caracol Linux exhibit opened in 1989. The year after, the Spotted Neck Otter exhibit opened. In 1993, the Red Panda exhibit reopened and the Malayan Wood Pavilion opened. The Sumatran tigers arrived in 1994. Naked Mole Rats went on exhibit in 1996. Komodo dragons became a feature exhibit in 1997. The SARS crisis in 2003 had a devastating effect on the tourism industry in Toronto. However, the zoo fared well, with local residents supporting the zoo by visiting often. The zoo's attendance has recovered well, with many record-breaking annual attendance numbers since then. In May 2007, Dinosaur Alive opened, which featured 18 animal dinosaur modeled in life-size skeleton replicas. It featured the largest T-Rex in North America. The exhibit was enjoyed by over 600,000 visitors and was included with zoo admissions. The exhibit closed in October 2007. On May 16, 2008, Stingray Bay opened for the first time. The interactive exhibit allowed the public to touch, feel, and feed live stingrays. It returned several times but closed indefinitely on October 8, 2012. On August 15, 2009, the Toronto Zoo celebrated its 35-year anniversary. During that weekend, the public got to learn about some of the zoo's oldest residents, including Marga, the domicile crane, and Monty, the West African dwarf crocodile. On September 9, 2009, the south side of the African Rainforest Pavilion was closed for construction. In April 2016, plans to install a maglev operation to replace the zoo domain ride surface plan have been confirmed in November 2018, with the consortium, which includes Magna and Lockheed Martin, paying for its first 15 years of operation. On May 11, 2017, over 400 employees went on strike, and zoo management decided to close the zoo due to the job security negotiation falling out. Through conservation programs continued. During the strike, 3 snow leopard cubs, 2 clouded leopard cubs, 5 cheetah cubs, and 3 Vancouver Island marmot pups were born. The strike ended on June 15, 2017, after the union and zoo board of management signed and ratified a 4-year agreement. The Australian Pavilion features animals from the Australian mainland as well as surrounding islands. Featured species in this area include horny devils, stick insects, a variety of small Australian reptiles, western grey kangaroos, wallabies, echidnas, southern hairy-nosed wombats, kookaburras, red-tailed black cockatoos, moss-chased tree kangaroos, and Komodo dragons. The Komodo dragons were donated to the zoo as a gift from the President of Indonesia. This pavilion once had an edge of night section to the highlight crepuscular and nocturnal morose plays, but this was later converted into the Great Barrier Reef exhibit featuring seashores, a live coral and jellyfish tank, lionfish, brooded bamboo sharks, and a 7-meter, 23 feet long community tank. The exhibits inside the pavilion also received facelifts during the transition, including an outdoor area of the hairy-nosed wombats and swamp wallabies. Africa. Opened in 1998, the African savanna became the zoo's largest expansion in history. The African savanna, combined with the African Rainforest Pavilion, encompasses most of the southern third of the zoo. The African savanna features species include white lions, gray zebras, olive baboons, greater crows, cheetahs, white rhinoceroses, river hippopotamus, spotted hyenas, African penguins, and Maasai giraffe. The African Rainforest Pavilion holds the world's largest indoor gorilla exhibit, home of Charles, as well as dozens of other more sensitive African species, including marquitas, red river hogs, West African Darfur crocodiles, and hippopotamus. The south side of the African Rainforest Pavilion underwent extensive renovations in 2009 and 2010 and opened in the spring of 2011. The south side of the pavilion is completely refurbished and showcases ring-tailed lemurs. The city zoo received 3 white African lions cubs in 2012 to replace the single white lioness the zoo had since 1996. Canadian Domain. The Canadian Domain is situated in the Rogue Valley. The animals in this area all be regrouped onto the tableland. The Canadian Domain was built in accompaniment with the Canadian Domain Ride, which exhibited North American animals in their native environment. Featured species in this area include elk, bison, moose, bald eagles, cougars, lynx, raccoons, and grizzly bears. The Toronto Zoo is currently participating in a breeding program for the Canadian bison. Canadian Domain is slated to be moved onto the zoo's tableland in coming years and renamed Canadian Wilderness. Discovery Zone. This area is geared toward children by featuring educational themes and exhibits. The most prominent area is the Children Water Park, Splash Island, which features landscaping and themed objects depicting the 3 states of water: solid ice, liquid, and gas. Exhibits are grouped around variously themed groups of aquatic animals, including rivers, lakes, and oceans. Waterside Theatre is an open-air venue where live demonstrations of a variety of animals are shown, including alpacs, goats, falcon, turkey, vultures, hawks, skunks, ferrets, and hornbills. A third area, the Kids Zoo, consists of a variety of animals that children can interact with. The Discovery Zone also hosts the Stingray Bay exhibit for its duration. It was originally known as the Zellers Discovery Zone, named after Hudson Bay Company-owned discount department store sponsor Zellers, which later became defunct in 2013 upon the Target Canada's purchase of Zellers leases.